Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Cliff Dixon of UKIP Hillingdon, candidate for Hayes and Harlington. So we've spoken a lot in the previous videos about the political situation out there at the moment, some of the stuff that the other parties would do and some of the stuff that we would do instead. But today we're only a couple of days away from the general election, so I want to really speak to you about what we would do in Hayes and Harlington. Well, there are a number of policies that UKIP have put forward as a party and a number of things that I want to do as a local boy, born and bred in Hillingdon, that I want to put right and help our community to put right in the area over the next 5 years. So I'll start with policing. It's been focused very heavily on my leaflets. We've seen police numbers drop in the area, and I've had people have said to me that they're concerned about the rise in violent crime. I attended a public meeting where police officers were present in Useley a couple of weeks ago. We have had a problem with drug gangs, knife crime. UKIP policy is 20,000 extra police officers on the street to reverse the cuts to the service that Theresa May brought in when she was Home Secretary. I want to see more police on the street. I want to see more engagement with the community, and I want to free them from political correctness so they can get on, do their jobs of making us safe. So that's the first thing, policing. Then we come to housing, which is a massive problem in Hillingdon. We have a huge social housing waiting list. UKIP's solution to this is modular housing. These are new, high-tech, affordable homes that can be assembled very easily. We can put them up on brownfield sites, and we would develop a new government agency. Their job, sole job of that agency, is to get these homes built so you could have a 2-bedroom house for £100,000 modular, which that is affordable for our youngsters. Those would only go to first-time buyers with local links, and if they want to sell them at a future date and move up, they will be sold back to that association so that they can be sold on to the next first-time buyer, thereby not distorting the housing market but giving us the housing that we need for the 21st century. And we would combine this, obviously supply is also driven by demand, and the demand has been driven undoubtedly by mass uncontrolled migration. Last year, a city the size of Hull was the increase in our population through migration. So what we do is we put in an Australian style point system. We control the numbers and the quality of people who are coming here, and we make sure that we're putting enough homes into the marketplace for our youngsters to start on the housing ladder. Then we come on to the NHS. Now, I've said during this campaign, the people at Hillingdon Hospital, the NHS staff do a great job, but the hospital was built in the 1960s and it's falling apart. We need a new hospital in Hillingdon. The staff are doing wonders, but you can only do so much when you're working basically with very run-down equipment. So we need not just a new hospital, but we also need some more GP coverage in key areas. Certainly talking to friends in Heathrow Villages, there's a problem down there. We need to get an extra GP surgery in to cope with the load. How would we fund it? Quite simply, we'd cut the foreign aid budget from 0.7% of GNI to 0.2. That'd save £9 billion a year. That can go into the NHS. And also by ensuring that all new migrants to the country have private health insurance when they arrive. They've got to work for 5 years and pay into the pot before free NHS service. We save £2 billion on health tourism. That can then go into social care and getting that link up right, because the NHS and social care services need to be linked together. We've got too many people in hospital beds because the social care service outside can't cope. That's the kind of joined up thinking that we need in the NHS, and that's the kind of joined up thinking that UKIP are providing. Then we come on to defence. We're living in an increasingly dangerous world, and our armed services have been cut. We propose more money for the armed forces. Also, we propose upholding the military covenant. Our servicemen who've given great service to this country, they come out and quite often are left unsupported and on the scrap heap. They would be priority on affordable housing, and also we would make sure that there are jobs available for them in the border force, in the prison service and in the police service. We've heard a lot of people say that we need more armed police. who better than a properly trained, experienced soldier who can retrain very, very easily to basically boost the numbers in SO13. So that's what we'd say on defence. Education. Our education system is sliding down the world charts. We would bring in grammar schools. We've been consistent about that for years. But those grammar schools, you would also be allowed to be retested after year 11, because obviously there are late developers. That was the one flaw in the old system that needed sorting out. And also we'd make sure that those grammar schools as a priority, the first ones going to deprived areas, giving working class kids a chance to get on. And as important as the grammar schools are, we also need the vocational schools and the technical colleges, because there are kids with great talents in things other than the academic. They need to be, their full potential needs to be brought out. We need to liaise with local businesses, find out the skills we need, then train up those youngsters so that they've got a job to go to, a well-paid, decent job that helps our community. Also, we would remove tuition fees on STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, medicine, maths. That way, we've got the skills coming out of uni we need, rather than tons of useless sociology courses where these kids come out saddled with debt for years to come with no proper job prospects. Migration and community cohesion. Well, those two things go hand in hand. UKIP propose an Australian-style point system where the best and the brightest can come from all around the world and contribute to our community, rather than the open door migration that means that it's easier for a barista from Portugal to come here than a trained engineer from New Zealand or a doctor from India. Let's get the migration right, get the numbers down, get the quality right. And obviously that helps with community cohesion. You're getting the people coming who can contribute, can speak English and can integrate. And we need to do more to integrate those who are already here. We've seen recently 3 separate terrorist attacks. We have a problem in our towns and cities. This is driven by lack of integration. We need to work with organisations like Quilliam, get in among the communities. Let's get people identifying with our flag, our values. We're one community, not many. Multiculturalism's failed. We need to embrace the fact that we're all different. We've all got our own skill sets, different religions, different colour skins. It doesn't matter. We need to unite under one flag, under one set of values and one law for all, which also means getting rid of Sharia courts that treat women in an absolutely abominable way. It should be one law for everybody, irrespective of who or what you are. And that's, again, a pledge that UKIP make. Jobs and wages. Again, the skills shortage I've talked about in the education part of it. UKIP strongly believe that anybody earning the minimum wage should be taken out of tax altogether. This puts more money in their pocket, but also means that small and medium-sized businesses can grow unhindered by an increased wage bill. And once they get bigger, the wages go up. This gets people back into work, but also it puts more money in the hands of working people. They can then spend it in the community. It's a virtuous cycle. We're the only party pledged actually to no tax rises, and we've costed it because we know where the savings are coming from. Brexit, we're synonymous with Brexit. We're the only party who will get you a real Brexit. We won't go the Article 50 route. It's a trap. We're basically taking the EU's bait. It's designed to keep us in for as long as possible. We would repeal the 1972 European Communities Act. We're out straight away. We can then negotiate from a position of strength, take back our sovereignty from day one, and let's face it, the EU, we're over £60 billion a year in debt, in trade deficit rather, and we're negotiating from a position of strength. The Germans sell more cars to us than anybody. 30% of the cars on our roads are German. You know, let's have some faith, let's have some belief, and let's engage with the wider world as an outwardly looking, globally trading, independent nation. Transport, we would scrap the HS2 idea. It's ridiculous. £80 billion. That can go into vast improvements on our existing transport infrastructure. We also oppose the third runway locally and nationally. It doesn't make sense. The economic case doesn't stack up. The environmental case is awful, the air pollution's bad. We can keep the jobs at Heathrow with a 2-runway airport, which is highly successful, and they just need to be a little bit more, shall we say, efficient in how they run. 2.4 million empty seats flew out of Heathrow last year. That's equivalent of 8,000 flights at 300 seats per plane. The capacity's there. We also need to, in terms of looking at the country as a whole, we've got regional airports that are underused. Let's utilise those, because the big increase in air travel is long and short haul, point to point. It's not hub and business traffic. We can do that from all around. We can do that all around the country. Boost the north, boost the Midlands. We don't have to put another one in London and completely overheat it, although UKIP would reopen Manston Airport in Kent to give that extra capacity should the need arise. So that's what we propose. That's what I propose, and this is why you should vote UKIP in Hayes and Harlington on the 8th of June. We've had 20 years of John McDonnell, 13 years under a Labour government. Can anybody truly say that our area is the better for it? I don't think so, and we also don't need candidates from the Conservatives and the Lib Dems who've been parachuted in and don't know the area. They're well-meaning, but I strongly believe you need a proper local link to actually be an effective MP, and as a result, that's why I'm asking for you to vote for me. I'm a local man. I will have a local focus. I will work for you. UKIP will work for you. Let's boot John McDonnell out on 8th of June. Let's put our community back where it belongs. Hayes was a great place once. It's still a great place now, but there's so many improvements that we can do to it. Let's work together. Let's put Hayes back on the map. Let's drive on and look forward to a global 21st century with us being here in the middle of a resurgent independent Britain. Thank you very much.